On a humid night in Dubai, Sean McGovern, the Kinahan Cartel's notorious second-in-command, was quietly escorted onto a private jet under heavy guard. For years, McGovern had operated in the shadows, managing the cartel's international operations and evading law enforcement across continents. His arrest marked a turning point in the decades-long battle against one of Europe's most dangerous organized crime groups. The Kinahan Cartel, responsible for a violent feud that claimed dozens of lives, had long found refuge in Dubai's luxury and anonymity. But that sanctuary was shattered when international cooperation between Irish and Emirati authorities led to McGovern's extradition. This was not just the capture of a single man, it was a direct strike at the heart of a criminal empire. As the jet lifted off, the message was clear. No place was beyond the reach of justice. The Kinahan Cartel is far more than a local gang. It is a sprawling criminal empire valued at over $1 billion, with operations spanning continents and involving drugs, weapons trafficking, and contract killings. Founded in Dublin in the 1990s by Christy "Dapper Don" Kinahan, the cartel evolved from street-level dealers into a sophisticated transnational criminal organization, now officially designated by the U.S. Treasury as a transnational criminal organization, TCO. Under Daniel Kinahan's leadership, the cartel diversified globally, trafficking cocaine from Latin America through West Africa into Europe, smuggling methamphetamine into Southeast Asia and Australia, and laundering money through real estate, boxing promotions, and cryptocurrencies. Dubai became the cartel's de facto headquarters after 2016, offering a strategic base with lax extradition laws and a business-friendly environment. Despite international pressure, the Kinahans established multiple companies there, including food import-export fronts, with tacit approval from local authorities. This sanctuary allowed them to coordinate operations while evading law enforcement in Europe. However, the recent extradition of Sean McGovern from Dubai to Ireland signals a major shift. Garda Commissioner Drew Harris warned that the cartel's leaders still in Dubai should be worried, highlighting that the UAE's tolerance is waning and that international cooperation is tightening. This extradition marks a critical turning point in dismantling one of Europe's most violent and entrenched criminal organizations. It demonstrates that no safe haven exists for the Kinahan Cartel's leadership, raising the stakes for those still at large and signaling a new era of accountability and law enforcement resolve. The cartel's global reach and violent history make this more than a local crime story. It is a battle against a criminal network compromising international security and public institutions. Daniel Kinahan built his cartel with the precision and strategy of a corporate CEO, transforming a violent street gang into a global criminal enterprise. Born into a notorious crime family, Daniel followed in the footsteps of his father, Christy Kinahan Sr., who was already a powerful figure in Ireland's underworld. Over the years, Daniel expanded the family business, overseeing a vast network involved in drug trafficking, money laundering, and violent enforcement. His influence extended far beyond Dublin, reaching into Europe, the Middle East, and even Asia. Unlike typical crime bosses, Kinahan skillfully blended his illicit operations with the glamorous world of professional boxing. He founded MTK Global, a boxing promotion company, and cultivated relationships with top fighters, including heavyweight champion Tyson Fury. Court documents and lawsuits reveal that Kinahan acted as an international consultant and brokered secret deals worth millions, using boxing as both a front and a means to launder money. This dual role allowed him to maintain a veneer of legitimacy while running one of the most dangerous criminal organizations in Europe. At the cartel's operational core was Sean McGovern, Kinahan's trusted lieutenant. McGovern managed logistics, coordinating smuggling routes, overseeing money laundering schemes, and orchestrating violent acts to silence rivals and enforce the cartel's dominance. Together, Kinahan and McGovern turned Dublin streets into a battleground. The infamous Kinahan-Hutch feud, which erupted in 2015, resulted in at least 83 deaths, including high-profile murders in Spain and Ireland, marking one of the bloodiest gangland conflicts in recent history. The cartel's reach extended globally, trafficking cocaine from Latin America through West Africa into Europe, while also moving methamphetamine into Asia and Australia. Their operations were sophisticated, involving encrypted communications, shell companies, and safe houses in Dubai and elsewhere. Despite international sanctions and law enforcement efforts, Kinahan's empire remained resilient until recent extraditions and arrests began to unravel the network. The Kinahan Cartel's operational system was meticulously designed to be airtight, enabling it to function as a global criminal enterprise with minimal exposure. Sean McGovern, Daniel Kinahan's trusted lieutenant, played a central role in insulating the cartel's leadership from direct involvement in day-to-day criminal activities. McGovern coordinated logistics using encrypted communications, ensuring that sensitive information about drug shipments, money laundering, and violent enforcement remained secure from law enforcement interception. A key part of their strategy involved establishing shell companies and luxury safe houses in Dubai, which served as the cartel's unofficial headquarters. These companies, often trading in food, textiles, and business services, were set up with the cooperation of local intermediaries and enjoyed the protection of Dubai's business-friendly free zones and lax regulatory environment. This allowed the cartel to launder millions of euros through legitimate-seeming enterprises while maintaining a low profile. Cash flows were routed through Turkish banks, exploiting financial loopholes and weak oversight to move illicit funds across borders. The cartel's enforcement arm operated with ruthless efficiency. Hitmen and enforcers rotated between Spain and Ireland, using the Costa del Sol as a strategic hub for weapons caches, drug storage, and planning violent acts. Spain's ports provided critical access points for cocaine shipments from Latin America, while the cartel maintained alliances with other criminal groups in Europe and Africa to facilitate smuggling routes. Despite this sophisticated setup, the cartel's system had vulnerabilities. In 2023, a single flight manifest exposed a fatal flaw. McGovern's use of a fake identity on an Emirates flight to Istanbul was flagged by customs, leading to increased surveillance and intelligence sharing between Irish and UAE authorities. This slip-up provided Garda E with a crucial lead, unraveling the cartel's carefully constructed network. On March 14, 2023, Sean McGovern made a critical error that would ultimately lead to his downfall. Boarding Emirates flight EK161 from Dubai to Istanbul, he used a false identity to conceal his presence. However, despite the layers of deception, airport security systems flagged discrepancies in his biometric data. Advanced facial recognition technology detected that the man behind the alias did not match the identity on the ticket. This triggered an alert that set off a chain reaction among international law enforcement agencies. Garda E quickly became involved after tracing the flight manifest and ticket purchase back to a travel agency with known links to the Kinahan cartel. This agency had long been under surveillance, suspected of facilitating cartel members' movements under false documentation. The discovery of McGovern's travel plans through this agency provided investigators with a rare and invaluable lead into the cartel's operational network. This seemingly small slip-up was the thread that began to unravel the cartel's carefully guarded system. For years, McGovern had expertly managed logistics, ensuring that shipments, communications, and personnel movements remained hidden behind encrypted phones and shell companies. But the biometric flag exposed a vulnerability in their travel protocols, allowing Garda E and their international partners to intensify their surveillance and gather further intelligence. From this point, investigators pieced together a timeline of McGovern's movements, linking him to safe houses, financial transactions, and communication networks in Dubai and Europe. The flight manifest was more than just a travel record. It was a window into the cartel's global infrastructure, revealing connections that had previously remained obscured. Over 18 months, Garda E meticulously built a case against Sean McGovern and the Kinahan cartel, compiling over 12,000 pages of evidence that would ultimately bring one of Ireland's most wanted fugitives to justice. The investigation relied heavily on surveillance footage, intercepted communications, and financial records that traced the cartel's sprawling operations from Dublin to Dubai. WhatsApp messages played a crucial role in exposing the cartel's inner workings. One intercepted chat read, "Need 12 clean mules. Fit, can't talk." This cryptic message revealed the cartel's reliance on trusted couriers to transport drugs and money across borders. Flight records corroborated these movements, showing repeated trips between Dubai, Istanbul, and European cities, highlighting the cartel's international smuggling routes. Forensic analysis added further weight to the case. Fingerprints and DNA found on weapons and documents linked McGovern directly to violent acts and logistical planning. CCTV footage from Dubai showed McGovern entering and leaving luxury villas known to be cartel safe houses, confirming his presence in the emirate despite attempts to maintain a low profile. By May 2025, UAE authorities, working closely with Garda-E, had gathered enough evidence to act. In a coordinated raid, Dubai police stormed McGovern's villa, seizing €450,000 in cash and a detailed ledger outlining cocaine shipments and payments. This ledger was a smoking gun, providing a financial blueprint of the cartel's drug trafficking operations. The investigation's success was built on sustained international cooperation. Garda Commissioner Drew Harris praised the UAE's commitment, noting that the extradition was a significant development in disrupting transnational organized crime. This collaboration followed the signing of bilateral treaties on extradition and mutual legal assistance, which entered into force just weeks before McGovern's arrest. This evidence buildup echoed earlier moments in the investigation, such as the flagged Emirates flight manifest that first exposed McGovern's movements. Each piece of evidence connected back to that initial slip, demonstrating how a single mistake can unravel a complex criminal network. The collapse of McGovern's operation sent shockwaves through the Kinahan Cartel, signaling that their long-held sanctuary in Dubai was no longer impenetrable. As Sean McGovern stepped off the Irish Air Corps Airbus C-295 onto Irish soil at Casement Aerodrome, the weight of years on the run finally caught up with him. Garda-E flanked him tightly, escorting the man described by U.S. officials as Daniel Kinahan's closest confidant through the tarmac and into custody. The extradition was the culmination of a historic legal and operational effort between Ireland and the United Arab Emirates, signaling a seismic shift in the fight against the Kinahan Cartel. Garda Commissioner Drew Harris addressed the media shortly after McGovern's arrival, delivering a stark message. 47 cartel members are now behind bars. This won't stop here. His words underscored that McGovern's extradition was not an isolated victory, but a blueprint for dismantling the cartel's leadership. Harris emphasized the relentless pursuit of justice, warning those still at large that international cooperation had closed the sanctuary once offered by Dubai. Crime analyst Mick O'Toole added context to McGovern's importance within the cartel. He was described by the Americans as Daniel Kinahan's closest confidant. He is really at the top of the tree in the Kinahan Cartel. This highlighted the significance of the arrest, not just a lieutenant, but a key figure in the cartel's operations. McGovern faces multiple charges, including directing organized crime and the 2016 murder of Noel Kerwin, who was killed outside his Dublin home during the brutal Kinahan-Hutch feud. Legal experts noted the severity of these charges, stating, "Directing a crime gang can carry up to life imprisonment. These are very serious charges." The legal battle ahead would be long and complex, but the extradition marked a decisive step forward. The extradition flight, which departed from Al Maktoum International Airport, was the first major test of a new treaty between Ireland and the UAE, marking a turning point in cross-border law enforcement collaboration. Upon landing, McGovern was immediately brought before the Special Criminal Court in Dublin, where he was formally charged and remanded in custody pending trial. McGovern's capture and extradition dismantle the myth of Dubai as a safe haven for Europe's most wanted criminals. As Commissioner Harris put it, the message is clear: extradition isn't the end. It's the beginning of the end. Sean McGovern now faces life imprisonment for directing organized crime and conspiracy to murder, charges that carry the gravest consequences under Irish law. He is accused of involvement in the 2016 murder of Christopher Noel Kerwin, a killing rooted in the violent Kinahan-Hutch feud that has claimed dozens of lives. If convicted, McGovern faces a mandatory life sentence, typically ranging between 20 and 30 years. Since his extradition from Dubai, McGovern has been held in Portloy's prison, Ireland's only maximum security facility, where he is subjected to a strict 23-hour lockdown, a stark contrast to the luxury lifestyle he once enjoyed abroad. The trial, scheduled for later this year before the juryless Special Criminal Court, will determine McGovern's guilt on 5 charges, including murder and directing a crime gang. Legal experts emphasize the seriousness of these charges, highlighting the potential life sentence and the impact his conviction would have on dismantling the Kinahan Cartel. Meanwhile, the U.S. State Department continues to offer a $15 million bounty for information leading to the arrest or conviction of Daniel Kinahan, the cartel's elusive leader who remains at large. This underscores the ongoing international effort to bring the cartel's top figures to justice. Sources close to law enforcement confirm that Dubai's role as a safe haven for cartel members is rapidly diminishing. Reports indicate that 2 more extraditions from the UAE to Ireland are pending, signaling intensified cooperation between the two countries and a growing resolve to dismantle the cartel's leadership network. McGovern's sentencing and the unfolding legal battles represent not just the fall of a key cartel figure, but a broader shift in the fight against organized crime. The Kinahan Cartel's grip on Dublin and beyond is being challenged like never before, with law enforcement agencies across the globe working in concert to close the net on its remaining leaders. As the dust settles on Sean McGovern's extradition, questions remain. Is this truly the beginning of the end for the Kinahan Cartel, Europe's most elusive and violent criminal empire? Or is McGovern's arrest merely the first domino in a series of takedowns yet to come? With Dubai's doors closing and international law enforcement tightening the net, the cartel's future hangs in the balance. But Daniel Kinahan himself remains at large, a ghost behind the scenes, orchestrating moves from the shadows. What will happen next? Will justice finally catch up to the cartel's kingpin? We want to hear your thoughts. Was justice served, or is this just the calm before the storm? Drop your comments below, share your theories,